Naya, how are you?
I am well. I'm well, Seth. I'm
Great.
just walking, about to got home in a few minutes. So
No, no,
I'll just mute myself and listen.
absolutely. And great. I'm on here. So we're just gonna reach out to everybody.
Oh,
So so this is great. I got my Zoom.
okay.
Can you hear me okay?
It's working. I
Great.
can hear you.
Awesome.
Uh, yeah.
Great. I'm gonna call because Gashaw didn't pick up yet. So let me call Gustavo.
Okay. So I'll just put you on mute for, because
No, yeah, just relax for a little while and I'll
I
get
had
it.
to get home and then I also have a phone that's dying. Yeah. My
No,
phone is
no
about to
problem.
die too as well. So I'll get in and charge it and then
Great.
listen in.
Perfect.
Go ahead. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah,
All
no
right.
problem.
Thanks.
Hey, Gustavo. Hello? Hey, I gotta get the thing to come. Yeah, I have the Zoom meeting started. There we go.
That works.
Great. All right. And you have the link I sent. I Let me send it. Cool.
I think I'm in.
Awesome. All right. Let me just check because Naya just came in and then
When I'm supposed to speak, do I need to put it put off the micro? Something like that?
yeah, I mean there's two buttons like there's an audio and right now can you hear me through the computer on the Zoom?
No.
Okay, let's see. You're is connecting audio. There you go. There you go. I can hear you. Can you hear me through the Zoom now? Yeah, so I'll ask you to unmute. Yeah, see if you can unmute Gustavo through the Zoom. Let's see. 'Cause I can't hear you at the moment. I don't know if you can hear me. There we are. Awesome. Okay, good. Great. So then see if you can unmute Gustavo so you can hear, like we can hear you. There should be a button in like the lower left at the bottom. You can see audio, video, uh, and hopefully your audio will come.
Yeah.
There, now I hear you. Good. All right, that's great. So now our job is to get Gashaw, and let me try to start to get Jerry. So I'm gonna mute for a second. I'm gonna call up a few people. But we this is great. We got Gustavo and Naya here. So just let's just assemble the group and then and I'm gonna call up a few more. All right, hold on.
Oh,
Hey Jerry, what's happening?
hey.
Good, good. I was wondering if we have a Zoom call with Gustavo and Naya and myself, and we're reaching out and get Gasha on here, and we're doing Zoom now. And
Oh, okay.
we would love to have you on if you can join us between. We have an hour and a half meeting. It starts right now, and from now until 7. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, and let me copy it. I'm gonna send it right now to you. Oh yeah, it's in there. I sent it to you. So it's in the text. There, I just sent it just now.
Okay, you sent it to my regular email or text
Yeah, I sent it to your WhatsApp text.
or WhatsApp. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Mhm.
got it. Now let me see how I can. I was just doing a training module. Let me see how I can build it.
Yeah.
Hang on for a second.
No problem. Yeah.
So just Hang on.
Yeah, good news. I think I'm gonna get Jerry. Hopefully, was is about to join us, and now I'm gonna call also. So I'm gonna text Gashaw right now. Great. We got Erna on here as well, Dr. Wong. So perfect. I think Jerry was gonna come on. I'm gonna just mute while I call Gashaw. Welcome, 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 Dr. Wong. How are you? Great. Go ahead and unmute. I'm gonna ask you to unmute, and then you can. The on the bottom left, there should be an audio and a video button there, and you have got the video, so the audio is close by.
Very good.
There we go. Good. Awesome. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to get Gashaw on here. Hold on. Yes. There we go. We got Jerry. Okay, guys, we're getting everybody coming in here. Awesome. So let me get Mr. Solis and Mr. Reyes. All right, these are great. There's Mr. Reyes. Yay, there's Mr. Reyes. All right. Mr. Reyes is here too. That's great. Okay. Wonderful. All right. And welcome, Mr. Reyes. And we've got a lot of sorry here. So I'm just gonna send this really quickly. Give me maybe one more minute just to reach out to a couple more folks and see what we can do. All right, great. There he is. And perfect. All right, beautiful. So what I think we can do now that we're getting Jerry is here too, and Naya I know is going to be listening in because she's commuting as well. But so I wanted to just give each of us a chance to briefly share a minute to just introduce who we are and just to give ourselves a little background. So what we're doing here, this is a new day academy school meeting, and we're getting the team together. Um, we've got Gustavo Vieira here, and we've got Jerry Edling and Javier Reyes, Xavier Reyes, Erna Wong, and Naya Shambang from Thonmet Peace Foundation. So what I want to do is just the intention of this meeting is just to get connected, get communication going between us such that we can share about our project and the New Day Technology, New Day School of Technology, Environment, and Peace is the framework, and we're all in education and in different roles. So let's have start with Erna Wong. Erna, would you give just a brief, maybe a couple minutes on you and who you are and your background in education and just your career as well and what you do?
Sure. Quickly, I went to Caltech for my bachelor's in biology and then went to USC Medical School, on to Kaiser Permanente to be board certified in pediatrics. I am a mother of 9 children, and while I was at Kaiser, I was assistant chief to 4 chiefs while working in NICU and pediatrics. So I have a very extensive experience in children. And having 9 children, as well as my career involvement or my participation in my church, where I served many years teaching young children from the ages of 18 months up to 12 years old. So my strength in education is that I have had a lot of education. I'm continuing to do so. But as Gustavo was telling you, I have an instinct about how to interact with children, to keep them engaged with storytelling and very much getting participation. So I'm bringing here my expertise with children, with healthcare, and last but not least, I'm very much involved in education. And we are moving forth with our goals to have trilingual, as well as we call it holistic education, where the children go out to the garden or a lady's hat and jacket. Sorry, I'm at the airport. Security check. If you're missing a lady's hat
Yeah,
and jacket,
no problem.
please return to claim. In any case, I have a passion that children need to inspire their curiosity, and the best way for them to learn is truly hands-on in a garden, wood shop, mechanics, so on. And I want to promote also the arts where they can continue to perform in an amateur orchestra or drama or so on. So I love education, and I'm very much, of course, aligned with children and our future. There you go.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Yeah, this is the perfect space for you exactly. So wonderful. So Gustavo, would you like to, Gustavo Vieira, give a brief small intro to yourself also?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, it's basically what I have been developing is a natural approach to initial reading and writing as a foundation towards second language acquisition based on storytelling. And that is the ability of the children to retell and interpret the story or the stories. And an excellent example is Dr. Wong's style and her own technique of engaging the children into the plot of the story so that the children are able and capable of interpreting the story, of relating to the story, of being able to retell the story in their own words. And based on that ability, the next step would be to actually help the children to decode the phrases and the words within the story, the words that the children have already been able to capture in their imagination, in their interpretation. But to make things very simple, I sent you a couple of links today about the keyword approach by Sylvia Axton Warner. And that would be my inclination, my advice to the people who want to start a school or a program with children, just to start with the keyword approach by Sylvia Axton Warner, meaning to focus the attention on the personal words, on the words that have meaning for the children. So this would be an individualized type of an approach. All we need to do is just follow the keyword approach from Sylvia Acton Warner, as well as a zone of proximal development by Vygotsky, a Russian psychologist. And slowly but surely we can get into the technique, for example, that Dr. Wong very successfully uses so that the children not only develop the personal interpretation and experience of keywords, but they can also develop a relation and an interpretation to several classical children's stories, or even the stories that the children may be able to write and illustrate themselves.
Yes.
So what I'm basically offering Dr. Wong's style and technique as an example.
Great, great. And you know the key things that I note that of yours is the storytelling, where the children are learning through music, and also they are telling stories that they learn, and also doing like theater arts, performing them as a first step to learn language. This is your the big
Yeah,
piece.
basically we can generalize it as a theater arts program. Obviously, we don't want to just stay within the theater department. We need to also include the music and movement according to the Swiss method, which is Dalcross. Eventually, we transition into the Hungarian method, which is the Kodai method.
Yes.
The Kodai method is more professional,
So
in my opinion.
yeah. So just at this point, because we're just introducing, and just you as your background, maybe your experience, just brief about you, because I love
I've
your.
been working with and experimenting with several classrooms since 1989, beginning in Linwood, and later on I perfected the storytelling method in Duarte. I wrote a PhD dissertation about it in Germany. And now that I met Dr. Wong and her style of interpreting stories, now we have an excellent model because Dr. Wong can help us out by recording how she does it with her own grandchildren.
Great, great. Absolutely wonderful. All right, excellent. And then Jerry, could you give a brief intro about you and who you are here? Because Jerry Edling is here. Oh, but unmute, I think. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna ask him to unmute. Try to unmute him. There you
Is
go.
that better?
That's good, Jerry. Great. Go ahead.
Okay, excellent. My name is Jerry Edling. I'm a career broadcaster. I've worked in radio, excuse me, radio and television all my working life. I actually started out as a teacher, believe it or not. I worked with a summer program in Hempstead, New York, on Long Island. When I was in college, I actually directed the program. It was an educational enrichment program for children, and it was generally kind of a low income area. So we taught them reading and some of the fundamentals of grammar and math and whatever their parents said they needed help with, not to dangle any prepositions. But
Mhm.
anyway, I did that for a long time, and it turns out, looking back on it, I think it may have been one of the best jobs I ever had. But I did go into radio. I was a news director for 7 different radio stations. I moved into television when I was in my 30s, writing for television and producing for television. And it was through that I got a break to come out to Los Angeles, which is the second largest market in the country, and do a lot of writing. I've had a lot of success out here, been nominated for 3 Emmy Awards and 5 Writers Guild of America awards. And uh, I've also done a little teaching on the side, or at least developing models for or modules for teaching. Uh, I don't think I mentioned this at last week's meeting, but I've been working with an educator in the Valley on a project called World Summit, and it's sort of like a model UN, but it would be like a social studies curriculum for I guess the middle and high school grades in the U.S. And the kids would each adopt a country and represent that country throughout the year and in various projects and negotiate with other countries based on their research. So it's sort of a gaming model. And anyway, I've been working on that, but mainly broadcasting, and I'm I know the media very well. So if we needed publicity, uh, I know how to reach out. So, but it's a privilege to be in this group, and I will turn it back over to the chair.
Great, Jerry. Thank you very much. Yeah. So uh, we also have with us uh, Xavier Reyes, and he's the principal or the founder of Alta Public Schools, and he was the founder of the school I worked with for many years. I'm so happy that he's here. Mr. Reyes, how are you?
Hey, Dr. King, how are you?
I'm great.
All right. I love saying that. That's fantastic.
I know Gashaw loves saying that too.
Yes, it's actually nice. Well, I'll give a brief introduction. So I come to education via business. So how do I weave this? So I went to school in San Diego. I went to San Diego State, where I started a political career in politics, obviously, in San Diego. Worked in politics for a little bit, doing campaigns, putting the first Latino into elected public office, the city of San Diego. I worked with Juan Vargas. He's now in Congress. I worked with him for a little bit, but having an entrepreneurial heart since the age of 5, I went out into business for myself in San Diego. I launched and published a magazine out of San Diego, which with somewhat of a Southwest reach. Uh, I did that for a couple of years and transitioned to actually compete a little bit with, believe it or not, with Amazon.com in the early years of technology. This is mid to late 90s. Went to do that for a little bit, starting e-commerce. So I have experience in e-commerce. We got some pretty nice funding in the first rounds, and then the bubble burst, and then Amazon just turned the turbos on and left everybody behind. So we kind of folded, and then came back to LA. I'm from LA. I'm actually from Mexico, but I'm raised in LA. From San Diego, I came back, started another business called Yavas.com. I was in the early internet mover. Didn't have a lot of success, a little bit of success, international reach, featured in the Wall Street Journal, LA Times, a lot of different places. And then that went bust as well. We did that for a little bit, and then went back to media, which I was the director of communications for the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles, which is we were doing immigrant rights policy, and just moving, back basically in the immigrant rights policy and politics. Then after that, I got recruited to work with LAUSD, and that's where I discovered charter schools. I didn't know what charter schools were, but I was given a job by the California Charter Schools Association to develop an charter school incubator in California, the first of its kind in South LA, where we would host 3 different schools in one particular site, host them, incubate them for a couple of years, and send them off into the wild so that they could succeed on their own. And so that project, I was hired to develop that project, and the project became so expensive because the property they had chosen to develop in turned out to be a somewhat of a super fun site. And so, it was basically contaminated, so much so that, it was prohibitive to actually build schools there. So I developed an incubator for actually school developers. So I created almost like a master's program for teams like this, to start charter schools in California. So we had a through the work that I did, we received through the California Charter Schools Association a large grant from the Department of Education to actually expand charter schools in California. And so I developed that program, and we started more charter schools up in Sacramento, Oakland, uh, San Diego, Los Angeles, and the Inland Empire. So we developed a lot of schools through the program that I created, which was really teaching people how to do this, you know. And so one of my main goals in that work was, you know, because a lot of at the time, a lot of young folks were coming out of Ivy League schools, and you know, they wanted to, you know, which is great, right? But they wanted to change the world, and they wanted to start, you know, charter schools to, you know, to really reach deep and start making an impact in education in the urban areas. And so my one of my goals was to identify people of color to start schools in their own communities. And I went on to the African American community in South LA and other areas, and we found some really good folks that to this day they still have schools. But I went out to the Latino community in Southeast and East LA and other areas, and I didn't find a soul that. And to this day, I don't know for you know for what reason. I don't know if it was my pitch or I don't know what it was, but I couldn't get Latinos to actually start their own schools, and so I jumped in. You know, and my wife and I threw our hat in the ring, and we started charter schools. And so this is 15 years ago. We opened up we opened up an elementary school, and we all our schools are international baccalaureate. And international, if you know anything about international baccalaureate, is you know, I'm not an educator, neither is my wife, but in doing the research is one of the programs that we thought educational programs that was very comprehensive, taught a lot of character development and project-based learning. You know, that's kind of the gist of the international baccalaureate program, and so we loved it. You know, and so we started off our elementary school. You know, one of the tenets of the International Baccalaureate is that every child should be bilingual by the time they reach high school. I mean, fully bilingual. And so we started with Mandarin. You know, so we were the only school with the at the time with the International Baccalaureate program, which, as you guys, if you know anything about International Baccalaureate, it's very expensive. And so not only was it expensive, but we were teaching Mandarin to South LA kids, you know? And so people thought, wow, what a marvelous thing you guys are doing. You know, you're almost overreaching, you know, because how is it that, you know, you're going to teach how the methodology you're going to use and what you're teaching to South and Southeast kids, you know? And so fast forward 15 years later, we're still doing it, you know. And so a lot of kids have really, you know, grasped what we were trying to do, and they've been rewarded greatly, you know, going to some of the best universities, you know, in the United States. And so we then after the middle school, we did a after the elementary, we did a middle school and then a high school. And this is where we met Dr. King. And so it's been the because of politics, you know, we unfortunately had to close the high school. You know, within the first 5 years, we were able to be top three in the area of graduation percentages and percentages of students going to college. So, you know, there's a lot of politics in these things, especially if you're a public school. And so, so our high school was closed down. But, you know, as a blessing in disguise, we then went into the food business, you know, because I believe, you know, a lot, as you guys know, a lot of our kids in LA, the meals that they get at school are probably the only meals they have during the day, right? And so we opened up what we call a central kitchen. We're a school food authority, and we have a central kitchen. Is the kitchen is in downtown LA, and we feed. Uh, we're this is our first year. We feed 12 other schools throughout LA. We have one in San Diego. We have one in Tulare, up north by Fresno. And so we're doing this as a beta program, before we get a little bigger. It's a nonprofit serving nonprofits, where the current market is, we have a lot of for-profits serving kids, public school kids. And so being a nonprofit and being very grassroots oriented, we're able to tailor food to the very local community. So that's I'm involved in other stuff, but this is what gives me joy now, but this is the work that we've been doing for the last 15 years. And as a non-trained educator, we love it. We love the impact we're making. And this is what kind of drew me to the proposition, that Dr. King kind of presented me with. So thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Reyes. I really appreciate it. And I wanted to say, what is it now, the current state? Are you having a Prepatech Middle School and Academia Moderna? Is that where you're at right now with the current project? Because I haven't touched with you, but just briefly.
So we're a current K-8.
Okay.
We have two different schools, elementary and a middle school. So we're a K-8 right now.
That's great. That's
So
really great.
we have about a little over 800 students right now.
Okay. That's excellent. Yeah. Before I go into my background and things, I want to ask Gustavo if you could share, because I know this really, I'm sure, is really reaching, because Gustavo is perfectly aligned with what the YouTube I can see. But Gustavo, would you say just a brief statement about how you perceive the charter school and the partnership possibilities? Because we're doing a private school, a Christian charter school, and through New Day. And but Gustavo, I think, would speak to this a few things. He was really talking to me exactly about what you just said, and I thought, Gustavo, could you share just a brief point about that before I ask Naya, because I'm waiting on Naya to see if she's available. But could you say a brief word on what we were talking related to how charter schools and to help partnering with a potential? You were talking some great ideas. And you unmute maybe. Let's see. Can you hear me, Gustavo? Okay. Let me see. I'm hoping that do I have to unmute you, or let's see. Can you unmute yourself by chance? There we go.
Is that it?
Yep, that's it. Yeah, just what you were sharing with me.
Well, I basically agree with Javier Reyes because he has the IB program. Do you know what that means?
Oh, most definitely. I was a teacher in his school, so the IB program really was the perfect
It
match.
is the best. It is the best high school exit exam. It is similar to the Abitur in Germany. The high school exit exam in Germany is the most challenging test ever taken by any student in Germany. So it is very, very similar to the Abitur in Germany. I basically agree with him. That should be our objective wherever we go. The IB, it's basically the British interpretation of the German system. The
Yes.
Germans and the British, they kind of compete against each other. So the IB is the British interpretation of the high school system, which is what we should be basically targeting. That is a high bar. Now, not everybody is a college bound kid. Remember that. So by the fifth grade in Germany, they decide, the parents and the teachers decide, okay, this kid is not college bound. Let's take him into the trade school, into the pathway of learning a trade and mastering a trade. That's what's missing in the USA. We just follow the IB program for the college bound kids. But remember, about 70% of the kids, they are not college bound. So why bother with algebra and theory and chemistry and all of that stuff? Let's get them to build houses. Let's get them to do agriculture like in Ethiopia. So that is just what I would advise to Javier Reyes, so that we actually do it the German way. In the fifth grade in Germany, that's where the high school starts. There's no middle school.
So
So they went
Gustavo,
to
it's
the
Gustavo, right?
yeah,
Is it Gustavo?
correct, correct.
If I may interject, you know, the International Baccalaureate is kind of is also evolving, right? And to your point, is because not every child is going to be, you know, a college. You know, they're not going to want to go to college, right? One of the things that
Correct.
IB has developed is called a career program. So the career program is exactly that. You know, they have so out of high school, it's very tough to get what's called an IB diploma, right? To
Exactly.
actually
It's very
graduate
tough.
through the IB and actually get a diploma, pass all those exams, and actually get a diploma. So that's part of it. And some of the kids, you know, that are not college bound are not going to take that program. They're not going to take those exams, and they're just, you know, that's not the track they're in. So like in many other, you know, countries, the 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 track is career, right? And so they
Yes.
developed. So we actually started before our school was closed. We actually started a relationship with the university, with the school system in Mexico, and we actually just started another alignment with El Tec de Monterrey, which is Latin America's MIT. It's in Monterrey, Mexico. So to talk about the career program, right? The career program is very, very. I think it's a program that a lot of our kids would really, really enjoy, because it's about, you know, it's about defining a career path for oneself. You know, it could be vocational, right? It could be like anything from uh plumbing to engineering, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and it's a powerful, powerful program that I think it's worth investigating as well, in
Yeah,
within
the
the IB
Tecnológico
program.
de Monterrey is the best one. The best one in Mexico is El
Yes,
Tecnológico de Monterrey. And I agree with you,
that's right.
obviously.
That's right. Yeah. So we've developed some alignments with them. As a matter of fact, we had El Tec de Monterrey give our Spanish students last year a a science class in Spanish, extracting DNA.
Yeah, excellent.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is in Southeast LA with El Tec de Monterrey, the Latin American MIT students and teachers teaching eighth graders in Spanish uh, science vocabulary,
Yeah,
you know,
I
in
agree with you
Spanish.
completely.
So this is there's so many places that we could go. But anyways,
Yeah,
I get excited about this stuff, but
yeah. So definitely. So
Yeah,
let me.
that's excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah. It's really fascinating. We got a lot of really powerful things in this space. And so anyway, so what we have is the Green New Day Christian Peace Academy vision. It's a vision that you know, I've been I'm a AP Computer Science, Technology, English, and Creative Writing teacher. And Mr. Reyes knows me because I was a technology teacher at Prepa Tech, and we were just the IB program really, and I went to a training in Albuquerque, and I gained immensely from that training. And I designed a lot of the things, a lot of the curriculum that I did develop throughout, and that I use to this day is all basically out of that IB training and out of that IB framework. and the lesson planning and the technology, all the technology units that I created and everything, exploring entrepreneurship with a social conscience, and all of these various aspects of that came from, our the years, 4 years, I believe, was with at Prepa Tech. And now I teach at New Design Charter School on 23rd and Figueroa for this my 6th year there. And AP Computer Science was able to get 10 of my students to pass, and then a 11th one got a 4 as teaching AP Computer Science. And I had never done that until they asked me like the week before, like, "Will you teach AP Computer Science?" Anyway, 4 years back during COVID. But but I have a passion for youth, for children, for really students with technology, and learning just the real miracle of technology and of the internet, and of zeros and ones communicating through air and into wires that goes around the world and instantly. It just
Recording in progress.
whoop. Let me see. Oh no, I accidentally got on my phone. Let me get off of that. Somehow I got on there. Oops. But anyway, so New Day, Green New Day Christian Peace Academy. So what we have on the line, and maybe Naya is available to speak as well, because she is building a school in Gambela, Ethiopia, and Gashaw, who I just called, and he's like, "Oh, Seth, I'm exhausted." I said, "I don't know if he's going to come on," but Gashaw and I met Jerry in Washington, D.C., June 1st to 4th, and we met Naya in Washington, D.C. at the United Nations Leadership Summit. And Gashaw and I, as Mr. Reyes will tell you, we did a We Plant Peace, and a million trees for peace is what Gashaw caused in Ethiopia in 2005 to 2009. So when I met Gashaw, we just became really inspired by one another's work, and we just chose to start to do tree planting trips with schools, and to inspire the students to see what Gashaw had done for the environment, and being honored by the president of Ethiopia. So the partners in this project are Gashaw and Naya and I, and what we have is a background of my spiritual religious association affiliation with Dr. Joshua Smith and Loving to Learn Association, the Word of God International University. So I have a 508 nonprofit, and that is where the basic foundation of what has become this group, to bring a new school to Gambela, Ethiopia, incorporating technology, incorporating environment, and incorporating peace. And those three main components to bring and to put those as foundational pillars in a school. And seeing all these different pieces with trades, the trade school, and having a middle school trade school. And then just getting the real educators here, Erna Wong, Dr. Wong, and with Gustavo, with the 4-year-old, 2-year-old, 4-year-old to the third graders, to really get that kind of language pulled into them. And it's just miraculous the way that it's all came together, because I did 8 talent shows when I was in the 2012 to 2016 around everybody. I did one at Mr. Reyes' school at Prepa Tech. We did one talent show, that I think it was the 8th talent show that we did, and just that whole development of being inspired as a substitute, and getting into the school. And the school before I was at Mr. Reyes' school, and was where I did 7 talent shows. And I really see, creative self-expression, finding your voice, and developing your leadership ability to stand up in front of groups of people and express yourself and be creative. And I love the aspect of how Dr. Gustavo is using that with the kids at a young age to do that storytelling aspect. So there's a lot of really great pieces in this, and I'm excited just to share with one another, so we can just, it's like we just become connected and open up to one another. I think we're going to see through this group that the possibilities are endless about what we can really do together to just synergize our energy to do and work with one another. And so I'm super excited about it. But yeah, I have a background in environmental engineering. I have a background in environmental engineering from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I have a I have a master's in educational technology and leadership from Cal State LA. I also have a doctorate in ministry. So I was for 25 years community service, and I'm just inspired to see how the God is going to use us to really serve the students and be a contribution for our students and really care about them in a deep way, such that we make those small differences that we can make on a daily basis. Because I'm in the classroom every day, and teaching is like my calling. I love teaching, and I love inspiring students to find their passion, to find their vision, and to really pursue what really is exciting to them. And so I like to inspire that in my students, and I really feel as though that this opportunity of having this organization behind me with a bishop, Dr. Joshua Smith, who's funded giant programs around different countries and travels to Asia and travels to it's going to come to Ethiopia and communicating at my graduation. Gashaw came and Gustavo was there, and Mr. Reyes will know. We all held the apples. We got the picture with the apples again, and just the Muslims and the Christians saying, "We declare world peace," and food security is more important than arguing over our beliefs. But the bottom line is love one another and work together and try to allow the blessings to flow such that we can be of service to the students. And really my thing is, like, I have two kids, my son 17 years old and my daughter 14, and I love my kids so much, and it's just like I'm called to really make that kind of stand for my students and for more students. And I'm inspired by the fact that it's so unequal in this world, where I see, like, in my classroom I got this Promethean board and 30 lab desktop computers, and I have all this technology available to me, and it's beautiful. But then I'm looking in, like, Africa and Gambella, and just the technology access is what they need, and to have the environment is such a key. And so we've got these great leaders in this group, and so I'll stop at that for now. But if Naya is available, I'd love her to share. And I know Gustavo looks like. Do you have anything to share, Gustavo, at this
Yeah,
moment? I would love
I'd
you.
like to ask Javier Reyes about the possibility of experimenting at the age of 4, if possible, if he has the access to a grant, to space, to a preschool. If not, then we will necessarily have to start at least at the kindergarten level, where we promote the native language, in this case, English or Spanish, as as an example, as an exemplary approach to natural learning through the arts, especially storytelling, drawing, painting, music, and movement, and gardening outside as much as possible. Because if we're going to Ethiopia, we want to offer the most optimal level of learning so that we can export that into Germany and Europe and bring it back to California, because it is not the same thing. If you have a Montessori school, if we have a real Montessori approach, a natural approach, is much more effective than the classroom setting by itself. So I'd like to ask Mr. Reyes if he's open to the idea of collaborating, uh, getting a magnet program within any of his schools, so that that magnet program starting at the kindergarten level becomes like the exemplary classroom to model after worldwide. That's just my proposal to Javier Reyes right now.
Can you guys hear me? Sorry about that. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I
I
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Got you.
Yeah.
We
All
hear you
right.
now.
Sorry.
Great.
Bad connection. We
That's
must be
okay.
anyways, so yeah, my I think my contribution to the project, this particular project is always going to be about, you know, I think it's going to be informed by business practices, in operating schools, right? And so what I know, and so what I know in in helping people launch charter schools, and I've helped people launch, you know, a few of them. Okay, so it's we gotta do um you know, there's a lot of things that need to be done, right? So can we collaborate as from our existing schools to what Gustavo is thinking of? Yes, of course, right? We could always do that. The thing about our as a public school, it can't be sectarian, right? It can't be religious. So anything that we do has to be, non-religious. It's got to be, anything associated, right? Well, anything that let me think about it. Anything that we teach cannot be religious leaning, right? Uh, but anything that feeds both projects, I'm a huge champion for entrepreneurs. This is why, when Dr. King, called me, he knows who I am, right? He knows that I love helping people. I've helped out a lot of people start their businesses, their projects, and so that's what I'm about. I love that. So, but we got to be realistic, right? How can we do this, right? That's the big question for me is how. How do we get this done, right? So, yes, anything's possible. Anything's possible when we have a great plan and great team ready to execute, right? So I'm all for that. I'm all for that. So this is why, I love, I love the team, the diversity and experiences that people bring to this table. So I appreciate that. But Gustavo, yes, of course.
So my proposal to you, Mr. Reyes, is to bring into the classroom the music approach, basically the arts into the learning process. And for that, we need somebody from Mexico as an intern or from Germany. If we can, if you're able to finance a TA, a teacher's assistant, somebody from Mexico or Germany with a background in music education, that would be the first step to provide the best possible learning. And the best possible learning is that is based on music and the arts. It's not phonemic awareness. It's not this or that standard. It's a very holistic approach, beginning with theater arts and music education. Now, let's see how open you are to let's get the kids outside of the classroom because kindergarten is basically the garden of children. So where's the garden? Where is nature? That's a German word,
So let me,
kindergarten.
yeah, it's a garden. Yeah, of course. No, let me tell you what we have in our schools. So so just a little bit more of my background. Uh, I have a undergrad in art history. Because when I was a child, when I was a kid in elementary and middle school, I wanted to be an architect. Okay, so I love art. I love music. And the reason why I didn't follow, check out the story. The reason why I didn't follow architecture and my best friend did, which actually ended up working with Frank Gehry, was because my drafting teacher in high school, and we were good. We were good draftsmen at the time. Told me that I shouldn't go into architecture because computers were going to take over that profession and no more would they be architects. So I listened to this guy to my own detriment, right? Because I didn't pursue that kind of art. And so, I didn't become an architect, but I love art. And so currently in our schools, we have learning through art program. We do have a program that focuses in art and music. I mean, music and dance, music and dance. We have a program. We have two gardens. We're in an urban environment, and with the amount of real estate we own, which is not a lot, we still manage to have gardens for our students where they grow and consume the products that they grow.
Mm.
You know, so
Excellent.
so we're all in. When you talk about experimenting with different learning modalities, I'm all in. As a matter of fact, one of the things you should also know about me is that when I started, I called it Charter University, but my boss renamed it Charter Launch to train people how to start charter schools. Part of my job was to gather like this a team of educators to review business plans, to review charter petitions. And so we got to see a lot of different approaches to learning, practically all of them, from from project-based learning to I forget them now. But we read a lot of petitions, So I'm familiar with a lot of
Even
these
the
a
Waldorf
lot of these
School in
programs.
Pasadena.
What's that?
Even the Waldorf School in Pasadena
Waldorf,
is
Waldorf.
renowned.
Yes,
It's
we
renowned.
read.
It's one of the best high schools in the USA, the one in Pasadena.
Yes,
So I
so
congratulate you to be so open because as a teacher, I started in Linwood, 1989. I always had the opportunity whenever the principal was not in the school to just experiment, get out of
yes,
get out of the box. So at the end of the year, I always exceeded the results of anybody else. So that the principal one day came and said, "Gustavo, you have to use this book because that is recorded as." And I only had a probationary, kind of a license. I was a probationary teacher, so they could fire me on the spot. And I said, "No, I will not come into my classroom, open the book, and test my kids anywhere." So that
So,
was my first experience in Linwood.
so
So it's great that we have Mr. Reyes now in your team.
yes, I mean, absolutely. And just the knowledge that you have with experiencing, knowing, reading various proposals with for charter schools, that is so perfect for this. Yeah, to see where we're headed because we have. I want to introduce and I want to have Gashaw because Gashaw is here now, and you know, I want to give him an opportunity just to briefly introduce himself. And this is my friend for 15 years, my brother. We've done so many incredible things together as far as just just me really loving what he had done and just wanting that to be shared as much as possible and just becoming his director of media and communications for GreenLand Development Foundation and just uh his tremendous just effectiveness at what he had caused in Ethiopia is just incredible to me. And so I want to introduce him and have him share. So from him, just to share, Gasha, just so happy that we've got some really incredible people now we're coming together in this for a new day, a new day in education. And so with that being said, Gasha, welcome. And you want to unmute. Let's see.
Good afternoon or good evening. My name is Gashaw Tahir. I am from Ethiopia, and said that Dr. King and me, we've been knowing each other over, I would say, 20 years in Landmark, and then we've been engaged in GreenLand foundation, GreenLand Development Foundation, the last 15 years. And we've been together and creating what's possible for the kids, for the world, planting tree for peace and all that. So we've been creating with the intention of planting peace with no agreement. You know, people, you know, it just that's all it is. So we've been a stand, unshakable stand for the world. It works for everyone. So connecting before our color, our religion, our ethnic background, all that, we're human beings. So that is a whole foundation. We've been doing this and coming to his school and share what's possible and going back to Africa, planting tree for peace and different part of the world. So that's all about me. And
So
and
how did we meet Naya? And Naya, I think, is listening because she's on. So,
Dash is
so how did we
on.
meet Jerry and how did we meet Naya, Gasha?
Oh man, that's crazy. We were in at the UN in Washington D.C. on June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I believe. We were there, and then we met there, and then we were ready to go to with another group after we met. After the whole team met in Senator. What was his name? Senator from Maryland, or
Hmm.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we were there at the Capitol Hill, and then we finish up, and then we go ready to go to dinner. I'm ready to go. I was invited to go with the other group from Texas and different parts of the state, and then Seth was standing with Naya and talking, and I was with them ready to go. Hey, Seth, come on, let's go. And he said, "Hey, come on here and meet someone." And then the other people were waiting for us, and then I went there to Naya, and then I met her. Hey, my brother from Africa, she said. And then we started having a conversation, and then I stayed there, and then the other group left already. And then we've been having a conversation, and then was ready to we don't even know where to go. And then they said, we want to go to Ethiopian restaurant. They said, okay, you want to go? Let me take you. And then we went there. They invited me dinner with her friend, and finish up, and then and I came home to our hotel. And then uh, Jerry and that was you were there. Is that right, in the room? Is that right?
Yeah, but yeah, it was like we basically just we saw Jerry and he was like looked like he was just having a difficult time and we just gosh we can't leave him, he's walking here, and so we just became with Jerry and just to be with him, and then found out this guy is like a three-time Emmy nominee, one of the biggest media guys. And we spent time because his phone wouldn't work. We couldn't get it charging. He came back to our room. We just started
Yeah,
sharing just the whole story, and we just kind of
yeah.
together in a way that. And it turns out that Naya is from Ethiopia, building a school in Gambela, Ethiopia, and
And
Gasha
then
from.
sharing me what was her, and then I share with her. Organically, we get together. Just that's we didn't plan, but that happens. God designed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then from that moment, we know each other, and then Jerry and us, we went back again to walking and having great time at the White House, and we went to dinner. and then sharing what's possible. And I was really great. I was something big deal. So from that moment, we're here together, sharing what's possible, and yeah, and it's just unbelievable. I think,
Yeah,
uh,
it's
you know,
it's it's ex it's
it's a
exciting,
really
and I'm
profound.
yeah, and yeah. I mean, the partnership that Gasha and I share for 15 years, doing tree planting and doing many videos and just standing for that, partnership, where
And
feeding. Yeah,
Sacramento.
Sacramento. We went to the United Nations meeting in Sacramento. Two Prepatech students came with us, Mr. Reyes. We had with me and Gasha. We took two students from Prepatech to Sacramento, and we have some beautiful photos. And we did a whole presentation for launching the We Plant Trees for Peace movement in Sacramento, California. And we just keep on getting back together. In 2019, we had Little Caesar, B-Boy Little Caesar from the talent shows came back and spin on his head and break dance, and we all held the three apples. We got the red, the yellow, the green apple, and we did the big ceremony planting two trees. We had the ceremony honoring for two trees for peace here, and so it's like just a really powerful message that's in a core of this school that we can continue to do these aspects of the talent show and the performance for the kids, really evolving that and becoming fully expressed, and also the environment, just champions for the environment, because I think it's so key, and it's so important in these times that people come together for peace, and diverse backgrounds, and really work for food security, food security, water security, and environmental restoration. So these are the keys, and we've got Gashaw was honored by the president of Ethiopia, and he's got just an incredible background. So let me ask Erna Wong, and well, let me ask if Naya's here, because let's have Naya speak if she's here. Naya, are you available? Can you hear us? Are you available to say a few words, because she is the one who is now in the building of this, and we're coming together with these to see where we fit in this leadership team to have this happen. So if she isn't available, and she might not be because she said she was traveling and she's going to be listening in, I want to have everybody get an opportunity to weigh in on this. So I want to have Erna say something, and then Jerry say something, because we've been saying a lot, and to give everybody an opportunity. So Erna, would you say anything that's there for you at this point? And please, we really appreciate you being here, and I love what you're doing in education. It's inspiring. And unmute. Still can't
Here
hear
we
you.
go. Can you
There
hear
we
me
go.
now?
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful.
When I was at Kaiser Permanente, we had focus groups, and it was always important to include people who are the constituents of the end users. So I would love that we have some representation of a youth, so we can tap in to how they see what we could do to help them. So that would be my recommendation, that we incorporate into our team people that be their parents or students, so we can hear from them how we can help them.
That's great insight. And I actually have a student who I want to invite in and have him come. His name is Kenan. And I know you're just getting on the plane right there, Dr. Wong.
Yes, I'm waiting to fly to Denver on my way back to Orange County.
Yes. Yes, that's a great insight, and we definitely have that. I had one of my students. We shot a video with one of my students who was the guy who was the number. He got a 4 on the AP exam, Ken and Dionisio, and we're going to dive into this. And this is exciting, but definitely, it's a great insight. We're definitely going to have students in this group.
Did Naya join us? That's Naya.
Yeah, there's Naya. There's Naya. So let's let's have Jerry say one thing. Jerry, I want you to say just whatever's there for you to say one small thing, and then we're gonna have Naya share because Jerry's
Oh,
been here so patiently.
yeah. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Uh, in listening to everything so far, the couple of things occur to me. Number one, uh, it seems to me the sort of drift of the conversation is going toward integrated education. And I like the idea of building a program, not necessarily about not too compartmentalized. Now you're going to do the language, and now you're going to do this, and now you're going to do that. But something like when I was in high school, we had a humanities program, and it integrated uh, English, of course, culture, social studies, everything was in it. And so I wanted to mention that. I'll just be very brief. And the other thing that occurred to me is this going to be a one campus thing, or are we shooting for satellite schools like around the country? And that would be there would be like a node in the middle, but uh, it would also be sort of orbited with other campuses to reach more people throughout. So I'd be interested in what the sentiment is on that.
Yeah.
So those are just a few off the cuff thoughts.
Absolutely. Yeah, just briefly, definitely we want to make the template, in the Gambella school is there and then Los Angeles. So the timeline that I see is the fall of 2025 and the fall of 2026 to have a Los Angeles. So, it's all, envisioned right now. So everything that's coming together, that even the people who are in the in the team are just coming into play. So but definitely to expand and create new day schools in many countries, including Liberia. And I could bring on a whole bunch of leaders actually into this call that I have just withheld because I wanted to make it a more small central group right now. But I've got a number of leaders in many different locations that we've actually started through the support of my bishop to funding on really grassroots tutoring and grassroots feeding in multiple countries like in Malawi and Kenya and Liberia and India. So these are what New Day, the vision that I have that God is sharing with my heart is that, we want to make this, make Africa green again is Gashaw's vision. So, to really bring schools with the environmental restoration piece, the gardening, the math from learning the garden and, to building and hands-on and all these holistic approach to education and trade school in it. And just, this is all pieces of what I see is possible. So with that being said, I want to bring out Naya, and Naya is just a miracle really to Gasha and I, being able just coming together and something that really now is in our future in a big way. So I just want to thank Naya for being here, and I'm excited with and just she is with Thon Met African Peace Foundation, a 501c3, and I want her to share just about her background, her organization, and a little history about it. So Naya, you got all the time you need. Whoop, we gotta unmute.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Great. Okay. Welcome.
Okay. All right.
Thank
Hello,
you.
everybody. Good to see you, Dr. King and Seth, and all our friends Gustavo, Erna, Jerry, and
This is Javier.
Xavier.
Yeah.
Xavier.
Yep.
I greet you all. So I'm Naya. I am a Ethiopian South Sudanese immigrant from Ethiopia. And I'm a mother of three children, three boys, very hands-on decks. I My organization is Thornmet African Peace Foundation. Is an organization that is named after my great grandfather, a peacekeeping man who's, for those of you who speak storytelling, is one of those storytellings that we are trying to bring into life and the children to be able to experience and see. So my organization have a personal background as a nonprofit 501c3, a grassroots organization. We grow it organically. We become a public charity. 9 years ago, we were public and we were private. All total combined was 25 years. And the reason behind it, I was 8 years old when I was suddenly left, separated from my family because of war breakdown in South Sudan. I came to the country, was able to manage to survive and come to the country. And in 1999, I discovered with my mom, and I basically wanted to be like we wanted to bring her to the country. Things that we could have done, we could have prevented that. So we then lean into realization of, this world is bigger than us. We can't do much. What the little thing we can is to make a small, slight difference in life. And education is one of the key that, I think is an opportunity where every children deserve to have an education, to be educated either through just things, basic things in life. And I came from a region which is very fertilized, basically in Gambela, where there's a lot of livestock. We have beautiful rivers in the region that where fishermen and folks can do all sorts of things. So in 2005, 2015, yes. South Sudan went to a brink of a war that where the country still today is not, there's no peace in place. So it displaced many South Sudanese refugees. We wanted to help them. We right now have rescue families from South Sudan who migrated to Ethiopia. We were building home for them as a welcome. We helping them stabilize in the regions. So basically, we build home, like huts home for them. We now have about 45 families. That we have 36 children, 50 children. We brought and rescued them and helped them. And because the educational system in Ethiopia is very slim to none. If you don't have resources, you don't have funding to send your child to school, they won't go to school. So we thought we have a land, we can utilize it to help human beings. So we then established and decide to build a school, which we launched in 2023. Right now we are in the phase 2 of it, where the school we are building is a 3-story building where we will host about 2,025 students when it's done. Our goals and mission is really to finish this. We are trying to work with educator. We approach sister school partnership and an opportunity for curriculum to be brought into the school. In the region where we are, basically you can, there's 5 different languages that is being spoken there. And those languages can be incorporated. Our vision is really from K, and I don't know, is it Gustavo that say garden? From gardening to, so kindergarten to all the way to trade school. That's our vision, to be able to bring those resources. And I think Xavier said it very beautifully, that not every child is brought to finish education, go to college. So having them the opportunity and having the hands-on sort of way of learning, and then with these children's, that's really what we are looking for. And a model could be anywhere from charter to Montessori school. To this is a private NGO, and we are really looking forward to complete the school where we can then open it for these children. The kids that we will host is not just only South Sudanese refugees, but also the local citizens in Ethiopia that has no access to educational system. And we basically have a different varieties from the we want to tackle with the enough resources. The health, access to health is one of the key that is very limited in the region. Clean drinking water is one of the issue that we are experiencing in the regions, and the aquaculture, which is where they can survive, they can utilize them. Now is they don't have the equipment, the tools, and the resources. They can they can do their farmings and all the other things. So we try to look at things in a different perspective. Right now, the university we are working next to, across the street, they have, we are approaching partnership with them where our children can have access to science and math and all the other educational tool that would enable them to be able to learn on hands-on things, and then provide the qualified teachers to teach them the right way. So in a nutshell, that's me. And I thank you for the opportunity. As Seth and Gasha mentioned, it was a very beautiful meeting that we were just randomly met. And it's just, I guess the only thing I can explain is how the human connections is just undeniable, in a lot of different ways. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Naya. Absolutely. And I wanted to say, like, I remember we were in at the United Nations Leadership Summit, and I was just stage diving, basically trying to get as much publicity on a Gashaw as possible, jumping up and like the guy would point at it, yeah, I'm up, and I would start to share, and I was just, I think it reached out to the community. And really, I want to have Gashaw share, because Gashaw and Naya have been creating their friendship further, and even doing things together as far as steps to build, and also the background that Gashaw has and his connections in different ways that can be a part of this. Because I have my bishop, Dr. Smith, and Gashaw came to my graduation for my doctorate, which was just at the end of August. It's only September right now, and it was really great. And just your insight, Gashaw, on Naya, and your background as far as what potential possibilities you have for bringing this project forward with those resources that you have, as well as whatever's there for you, really, Gashaw. But I want you to share on Naya's share a little bit, and just where you're at right now. And I know you were telling me but what do you have to say and share, Gashaw? So don't forget, I'm mute. And I'm just so excited.
Yeah, here we are, people with a very unique background from different parts of background, and we care about generation, or young generation to come. We just make it possible, connecting people from different part of the world. And Ethiopia is the really gate of Africa, like UN, New York is for the United Nations, Ethiopia is for African Union. Ethiopia is a 54 countries in Africa. Like that's where the headquarters, most of the organizations are in Ethiopia, and doing planting tree for peace and uh, creating irrigation, empowering women, creating jobs and for different groups, young kids and women, all that. So people get to know me for the last 18 years. So now what is possible is all the whole thing is education and connecting the green movement with education. That's the intention. So Ethiopia is a leading in education, in science. There is so many things going on. Ethiopia is really creating those things, and I'm well connected from the top, from the government people and all that. So if we are connecting our team to Ethiopia means getting, it's all Africa. That's how it is. Once we connect there, the African Union is there, the team is there, so we can be able to, from there, we can go to different part of Africa. That's huge. That is the future. That's people, the average age is 19, 19 and a half. The young continent, that's what they call it. So in today's technology, we can have a headquarter here in America. We can teach anywhere in the world. Technology. It's all you guys are well, you guys are not, you know what to do, what to create, usually what to create, not doing the same way, in a very unique and transformational way, creating that and share it to the world. So creating from nothing, just bringing ideas from different educators and using technology, using digital technology to share it anywhere. And if we create, not if we create, we will create, uh, different curriculum and with the technology of AI, translation is very easy and simple. And yeah, I think possibilities there, and just keep sharing and keep recreating this new idea. Do not rush it. Let it grow organically. And before we go to Africa with Dr. Smith, to Ethiopia the beginning of next year, we need to develop this and connect people from Ethiopia. And I don't, it just keep sharing. That's all it is. It can be created.
So, and
I
want to honor.
I cannot say this, but anything is possible. That's all it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to honor the time because I know we said 5:30 to 7. So because of that, and I know people have other things to do, but I think this has been a very excellent meeting. I'm really excited about everyone who's here. I would think let's have everybody give a final like minute to final for this because I don't want to end it without a final comment from everybody and giving everybody a final share. But maybe 1 to 2 minutes. But let's have a final share and then we'll end it tonight because I think we've gotten an excellent connection. So and this meeting has really been success. to have all of you here is just truly wonderful. So let's have just a final comment, and then we will end it. So why don't we go ahead and let I'd say Mr. Reyes say something if he is available at the moment, because I don't know if you're driving, but if you want to say just a final statement, and then I would love Gustavo to say, and we'll just go around. So I'm just going around on what I see here, and just the final. Just thank you everybody for being here, and a final word. If something sparks, please share, and we'll call it, because I don't want to have a meeting that's planned for 5:30 to 7 and ending too far after 7.
Hey guys, thank you so much. Final thoughts. Um, yeah, I'm really impressed with the group. There's a lot of I think there's a lot of people are bringing a lot to the table. There's passion, there's love. There's the direction is a little vague for me right now. But as we move forward, I think things will start to take shape. And so I'm all about starting with the end in mind, right? And so I'm all about that. I'm all about building bridges. I didn't get to be an architect, but I'm all about that. I'm all about building bridges and really, really getting things finished and up and running. So I'm all about that. I'm looking forward to, what's next. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Reyes. And Gustavo, why don't you have a final thought?
Yeah, to make it concrete, I can come over next Monday to Los Angeles. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can come over to Los Angeles. I'm in Tucson, Arizona, to have a meeting with you and with Javier Reyes, so that we make it very concrete as to the next step. And that is my proposal. If he's open to the idea of having like a magnet program within his charter school, wherever it is, so that we have it available now in Los Angeles as an example with for Ethiopia. And also I would like to bring Dr. Wong into the meeting with you, Dr. King, and Javier Reyes, so that we can meet in person. So I'm willing to travel from Tucson next weekend, so that on Monday we may be able to meet at his convenience late in the afternoon, and you know build the next step and build the architecture into theater arts, music, movement, gardening, and especially the storytelling technique that Dr. Wong is so successful in applying. That is the foundation of my philosophy of education that I've been working for the last basically 30 years. So let's see if we can have a meeting with Javier Reyes next Monday in Los Angeles, and take it from one step at a time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wonderful. All right. And if Dr. Wong is available, I don't know if maybe she's on her flight now. She may still be able to say something, or maybe not. But Dr. Wong, are you still available to say? Yeah, it looks like she may be on her flight, so that's okay. All right. And let's go ahead and let's have Jerry. Jerry, why don't you say a final thought?
Thank you very much. I was sort of inspired by what Gashaw said about sort of the evolution of the program going forward, and I was thinking of I'm wondering, once we get the initial school established, or have a plan for it, if we should seek further partnerships with like the UN or UNESCO or the AU if it has like an educational incubator, and look toward 2030 when the sustainability, the SDGs come to pass, and maybe shoot for the idea of establishing the school, have it succeed, or whatever it's going to do, see how it goes, and then approach the UN about doing a presentation in 2030, by which time our whole template could become the foundation of like an international school movement. So it's just my thought, maybe we should adopt that timeline, a short-term timeline for the establishment of the school, but a long-term timeline going forward, I guess it's 6 years now, to have it go international and with the support of the UN. I think it could really revolutionize education if we uh, time it right. As comedians say, it's all in the timing. So that's my thought.
Perfect. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you very much. That's great. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, short term, long term timeline and with the end in mind. And yeah, this is a lot of really excellent contributions everyone is making. All right, Naya, you want to go ahead and share a final thought? Please.
Okay. Well, thank you all. I'm glad to meet all of you and then learn about your backgrounds and what you are doing in an educational world. As everyone here has a different expertise in they bringing on the table. So I'm an advocate for human rights. I am a person that's passionate about educations and providing the children the resources they need through this NGO. And I'm just grateful to learn about your background and looking forward for the future opportunity and what it brings. So thank you.
Excellent. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, this is really great meeting. I have a student who's actually texting me right now who's saying, I say, can you come on? He's all, yeah. So maybe I might have a student jump on here at the last minute, but I don't know if he's gonna make it. But yeah, the 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 passion that we all have, the love that we all have for the students, and our commitment to bring the best modalities, the best teaching pedagogy to our students, and to we have such a diverse group. So really nailing down on what is it as we move forward, just to integrate these components into one proposal. Bringing forth the best that we see, such that we can really get that proposal written in a way that's going to bring the next level of funding. I know Gashaw's got professionals in grant writing and to critique on what steps we've had, and it's so we've got USID in a direction. We've got Word of God International University, all the associates there, and we've got just Mr. Reyes World. So and Gustavo's incredible. So there's so many really quality pieces here, and I encourage each and every one of you to think on and reflect on who could I bring into this group that would really be another piece. And I want to let Mr. Reyes know that I just talked with Mr. Solis. Mr. Solis, and he and I had a really great conversation, and I'm going to invite him to a future meeting. So Mr. Solis, the principal when I was at Mr. Reyes School, and it's exciting, and just looking back at the history of okay, yeah, maybe if Kenan would get on, I thought maybe he's going to jump on, but it's just beautiful to look back at all the things that we've experienced and gone through together up to this point, and I really am in my heart, I see great possibilities, and I've come to a great walk in my faith, and that is that to let go and get out of the way, and really let the Creator have His way, and at the same time, really perfectly with what Mr. Reyes is saying is because in public schools where I teach, and I have Homeboy Industries Father G Tattoos on the Heart, which is on the California State reading list for high schools. So you don't tell people what you believe; you ask them questions. And why does Father G think that way? How did a Jesuit priest get gang members to discover and feel such kindness and warmth and love from someone that they decided they transformed their life, and they got their tattoos removed and they got out of gangs, and now they're a good father. And it's just inspiring to see what's transformational can do. And then our mutual background with Gashaw in landmark education and transformation. So it's just so many just brilliant pieces in this group. And I look forward to continuing on this walk with you guys and just having that faith to let it go, to let go and really, let the divine design, the God design and unconditional love to have its way. And when we are loving one another and being together, the way makes itself known. So we've got a lot of really amazing things, but I think if we let our hearts guide us together and take our time with this, we can really create this vision of a school that really makes an impact in this world. And we can create something that's of such quality that then we can replicate and duplicate that. We can do it with Naya. We can do it in Los Angeles, and we can bring these steps in with Gustavo, with Mr. Reyes, and just having the meetings that are just show us what's the next plan and what's the next step. So I'm coming and experiencing a great deal of peace and letting go and knowing that we're not here we're here for a reason, and I'm excited to see the next step. So I just really want to thank you all, and again reflect on who in it is I think could be a part of this group and really come in here and create and really share something that would fit the way that we're going. So thank you guys so much. I know it's 7:13. Unfortunately, we're going to have to get Ken on next call. But I thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful time together. And I wish you guys a great rest of the week. And I just thank you so much. And I look forward to the next one. And we'll be cycling them every week. And just let me know. Hit me up privately, and we'll connect even in smaller talks and everything. Whatever you guys want. I'm here for everybody. All right.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Reyes, can we have a meeting sometime next Monday?
Absolutely. I will set that up. I will
Okay.
I will work that. Gustavo says, "Yep, absolutely. No problem."
Thank you.
Yep. I'll see you soon. Just send me a text. Have a great one.